You're watching Alaska's news source.
Today on the Morning Edition, some got the alert, others didn't. A tsunami warning rattled nerves across parts of Alaska, but not everyone's phone lit up. We're working to learn why that happened and what officials say you should do the moment the ground starts shaking. Plus,
seeing the barbed wire and it all being fenced off, it's really sad.
a neighborhood hub in Faiview now sits empty, but a temporary solution aims to help those without transportation get vital items like groceries and prescriptions in an area some are now calling a food hotspot. And later, it doesn't need a gas pump or even an electrical outlet. The world's first solar-powered car is ready for the road. We'll take you for a ride as the Morning Edition starts now. Good Friday morning, everyone. We made it to the end of the work week. What do you think about driving one of those? Looks kind of like a spaceship.
Yeah, it certainly would turn heads on the roadway. I love looking at vehicles like that. I'd give it a try.
Yeah.
I mean, we may see some sunshine today if you have any solar panels or anything like that. We may see some peaks of sunshine, but largely expecting this overcast, mostly cloudy to overcast weather pattern to build back in across South Central. We are seeing some of those pinker skies this morning. That is evident of some of those breaks in the clouds that we are dealing with. 55 is where we're currently sitting at here in Anchorage. You can see across the rest of South Central, we've got those temperatures sitting anywhere from the lower 50s to some mid 50s. Out towards the valley, some sunshine breaks. But largely expecting today to bring those mostly cloudy to overcast conditions. And those rain showers, they're already beginning to impact areas of the coast, particularly out towards the Kenai as you head from Homer, Kachemak Bay, and then out towards Seward is where we're continuing to see some of those passing rain showers. Now, today is not going to bring widespread rain by any means. We're really just going to hold on to some of that isolated to scattered activity for coastal waters as well as areas out towards the open waters of the Gulf of Alaska, while inland locations, we can't rule out some spot showers throughout the afternoon hours. Our better chance of rain may arrive into the afternoon hours tomorrow. You can see out west, this is where we're still favoring some of that heavier widespread activity as you head through the Kuskokwim Delta out towards the Yukon Delta and even parts of Bristol Bay this morning, continuing to hold on to some of those persistent rain showers. Meanwhile, here across South Central, you can see through today, most of the rain will grip the coast. We'll see a few hundredths of an inch. Some spot showers can't be ruled out for inland locations. Then as we welcome in our Saturday, we'll see a better chance for some rain pushing across South Central. Still not talking about any heavy activity. We'll see the potential for anywhere from 1/10 of an inch to likely just under 2/10 of an inch of rainfall. So we'll see some of those passing showers stay with us into the weekend. Temperatures today, though, 65 degrees. Can't rule out some sunshine breaks with those spot showers. Winds remain fairly light into next week. We've got a warming trend taking hold. I'll have more on that 7-day forecast coming up.
We thought it was a waste of taxpayer funds.
In this morning's top story, the House has passed President Trump's request to rescind funding for foreign aid and public broadcasting. House Republicans approved the package after midnight to claw back $9 billion in foreign aid and public broadcast funding, sending it to President Trump's desk. It passed in a mostly party-line vote with 216 voting in favor and 213 against. Only two Republicans opposing it, Representative Mike Turner of Ohio and Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania. Alaska Public Media tells us the state will lose about $30 million in funding. Alaska accounts for about $290,000 of that, which is about 43% of its budget. For stations like KUCB, which issued urgent alerts during this week's earthquake and during the tsunami scare, they could lose access to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Their general manager says she's not sure they'll be able to continue providing life-saving information with these funding cuts.
So we're going to look very different. It's going to have to be a collaborative effort with our community and our board of directors to find the way to move forward. But there is no way that we can fill that hole in our budget with local fundraising. We're a very small community, and our community already gives a lot to not only us, but to all the nonprofits.
Many of Public Media's 27 Alaska stations are located in small rural communities like the Aleutians, where 70% of local station funding comes from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Following this week's earthquake in southwest Alaska, many are thankful a tsunami warning was just that, a warning. However, Some are questioning why they didn't get the alert. The tsunami alert was issued just 5 minutes after a 7.3 magnitude earthquake struck off the Aleutian Islands. The all clear was given about 2 hours later. The State of Alaska Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management says there are many factors when it comes to how alerts are sent out. That includes your phone carrier or network, your phone settings, and which area or zone in which you reside. They say while technology is helpful, it's also smart to observe your surroundings and use that as an immediate reminder.
During the 64 earthquake in Valdez, about 45 seconds into 5 minutes of shaking, the first tsunami waves from those local tsunamis were arriving. Places like Seward and other places of Alaska were impacted during 64 by local tsunamis, and some of them also saw the distant tsunamis. So if you were in those coastal areas, shakes violently for 20 seconds or more, that is your warning sign to move to higher ground.
The goal of the alerts is to quickly warn people about potential dangers and to prevent tragedies. Seismologist studies say the Aleutian Arc in particular has been pretty active recently. It's now experienced 5, 7+ magnitude quakes since 2020. In Juneau, some people can get sandbags this month to help prevent against future flooding from the Mendenhall River. The CBJ and Tlingit and Haida are partnering for a sandbag distribution event, but you will have to fill the bags yourself. Anyone who lives within the predicted 18-foot flood inundation area can stop by and fill up to 75 sandbags. The bags, sand, and shovels will be provided. The events are the next 2 Saturdays from 11 to 3 at the Diamond Park Fieldhouse parking area. Starting this weekend, people in the Fairview neighborhood in Anchorage can get a free shuttle ride to the grocery store. Since the Cars store on Gamble shut down earlier this year, many in the area have been struggling to get essential items. NeighborWorks Alaska received a $75,000 grant from the Anchorage Assembly to provide the temporary weekend shuttle service, allowing folks without personal transportation an easier way to get what they need.
The Fairview community itself, about 1 in 5 households don't have private vehicles. And that means in order to get to the nearest grocery stores, which are now in Midtown, you have to deal with the highway connection. And that's not a safe or easy way to walk or bike or roll to get your groceries or carry them back over a mile and a half.
The temporary shuttle service will run until October. The city is working on changing bus routes to help those affected. When that happens, normal fares will apply. Alaska students from kindergarten to 3rd grade are showing signs of improvement for the 2nd year in a row. That's according to preliminary data from the Alaska Department of Education Early Development. Just this past school year, 44% of students in those grades were reading at a nationally defined benchmark level. At the end of the year, it increased to 60%. State officials are crediting the success to the Alaska Reads Act, a 2022 law that created standardized teacher training, reading curriculum, and support for districts and students. Coming up, to be or not to be, while not native to Alaska, our state has a pretty sizable beekeeping community. A new change to zoning regulations might make it even easier for it to continue growing. Sweet news next.
Well, we're still holding on to a chance for some showers for coastal areas. Inland locations may see some spotty activity. I'll have more on that. First, sunrise, 4:59 in Anchorage, 4:22 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Well, here on the Morning Edition, you know we love to share your photos, and you can see a whole lot more in the latest edition of Picture Alaska with Jackie Purcell, where she's featuring images of the summer of 2025, which is moving quite fast. So here's your chance to slow down and take in the views.
Hello everyone, Jackie Purcell here, and to talk about this week's edition of Picture Alaska. Now the month of July, it is flying by, and of course we have some of those summer scenes that you have sent us through your photos and videos, so let's get right to them. Let's talk about some flower power. Yes, who doesn't like flower power? And we have flower power. Thank you to Theodora for sending that in, to even some fish harvest. Folks working hard during the summer even wildflower, people taking in some of the beauty that nature provides us during the summer, and also back to some of those interesting scenes that we see around the south central area. This was out of Southwest with that mirror image, but these are all good examples of why you should look up Picture Alaska on alaskasnewssource.com or our free streaming platforms, which includes Amazon Fire, Apple TV, as well as Roku. So thanks for sending in those photos. I will be seeing you online.
Some stunning photos there, Aaron, showcasing some of the best we've seen so far this summer.
Yeah, we've got 2 brand new photos to show within the next hour and a half as well. As far as what we're dealing with across the state, we are still seeing those temperatures, for the most part, starting off fairly pleasant across the state. Many areas sitting in the 50s this morning. You can see areas along the slope waking up to those temperatures in the 30s. This week has brought a cooling trend for locations north of the Brooks Range. But starting this weekend, we will begin to see those temperatures warm back above average. 54 in Kotzebue, 55 here in Anchorage. We do have some sunshine breaks as you head through the valley, and then, of course, out towards southeast. Those mostly cloudy to overcast skies still remaining with us. Active weather as you head out towards us southwest. This is where we've got persistent rain showers that remain in the forecast. Of course, that area of low pressure in the western Bering still remaining fairly stationary, and that's going to keep more rain, clouds, and some possible winds in the forecast the next couple of days, while here across South Central, we've just got some scattered activity out towards coastal areas. So if you live out towards Southwest Alaska, this rain will stick around through a good portion of the day. You'll see some dry breaks, but we're going to continue to hold on to these persistent rain showers. Very slow moving off towards the northwest this morning. As far as what we're going to see through the remainder of today, you can see how it kind of tapers off as we welcome in the late afternoon, early evening hours. We likely will still see some showers persisting into the evening, but the general trend is some drier conditions. You can see the isolated to scattered activity for South Central. We'll be watching areas of the central and eastern interior where we could hold on to some thunderstorm development today as we continue to see those temperatures warming once more. And then as we welcome in the weekend, that stationary area of low pressure in the Bering will continue to lead to more waves of rain pushing across southwest Alaska. If this holds together, as we welcome in the afternoon hours tomorrow, we could see a decent shot for some scattered showers, quick moving system that will dump anywhere from 1/10 of an inch to just less than 2/10 of an inch of rainfall. That really looks to be our best chance of seeing some rain over the next couple of days. So for today, we are going to see those temperatures warming back into the 60s. You can see that spot showers looking likely as we welcome in mid-morning, early afternoon hours, but again, largely on the dry side for inland locations. The latest drought monitor showing that we are seeing some new abnormally dry conditions popping up. Here across South Central, we've got that precursor to a drought as some abnormally dry soil is beginning to show up across South Central into the interior. Not much in the way of improvement. You can see the moderate drought as you head out towards parts of the Yukon-Koyukuk region actually beginning to expand, even as you head out towards southeastern parts or just southeast of Fairbanks, as well as out towards the Alcan border. We've got some moderate drought conditions that still remain. And also north of the Brooks Range, as you head through parts of the Arctic Plains, we've got some abnormally dry conditions. So the overall weather pattern, yes, we're still going to be on the wet side for parts of the state, but we are beginning to see some of those dry conditions popping up when it comes to the soil. Temperatures out towards southeast today, warming into the 60s, maybe near 70 degrees. Still holding on to this warm weather pattern, which will persist into next week. Here across South Central, coastal showers, 50s and 60s, looking likely today with a brief chance that we could warm into the 70s for parts of the valley as well as the Copper River Basin. You can see near 70 degrees with some spot showers in the valley. Here in Anchorage, we'll warm to 65. While that 7-day forecast, you can see staying fairly seasonal through the weekend, and then we warm up into the upper 60s, possibly the lower 70s as we welcome in next week.
A new zoning change in Anchorage aims to make beekeeping more sustainable. Joe Allgood explains the change and spoke with a local beekeeper on how this could help the growing community.
Well, I'm here with Tim Huffman. He's a beekeeper here in Anchorage. We've had him on. We've done stories before with him. And he's got something new to share with us, new in beekeeping in Anchorage. What is that, Tim?
The Assembly changed the beekeeping ordinance for lots less than 10,000 square feet, to allow stacked small colonies to count as only one colony.
But why would you want to stack colonies?
The advantage of that is that when you're trying to get bees through the winter, you want to split them to use your own colonies to make more colonies and more queens. And now I can do that without being penalized.
Since only 4 colonies are permitted on a lot less than 10,000 feet, Tim's 5 colonies would have been illegal. But the new change allows what's called a nucleus colony stack, a beekeeping game changer.
So even though these are 5 separate colonies, because these two colonies are stacked, it only counts as 1.
With more colonies, a beekeeper can produce more queens over the summer.
You know, you can tell if they've made a new queen if they're bringing in pollen.
Younger queens produce more bees.
Oh, there's some pollen on a bee at the bottom. She didn't fly in, but she's on the bottom. She'll end up here.
She's just resting.
Yep.
And more bees equal warmer hives, and warmer hives keep bees alive over the winter.
And that's why the new ordinance supports sustainability.
Not to mention, Tim's neighbors benefit too.
I also do a honey bribe every year to my neighbors. Thanks for letting me have bees next to you. Here's some honey. They think it's a great deal.
All right, well, winter's coming up. How are you feeling going into this winter?
I feel great. My bees are healthy and they're happy, and the populations are good, and I'm not afraid of winter anymore.
That's awesome. Well, I hope they all make it and you're able to produce more honey into the next year. I'm Joe Allgood here in Anchorage, Alaska's news source.
Alaska lost millions of dollars in funding for food and farming business this week after the U.S. Department of Agriculture pulled the plug on the USDA's Regional Food Business Sector program. According to the USDA, the program started off during the pandemic with one-time temporary funding from Congress with the goal of supporting the growth of farming and food businesses. Yet this week, the USDA said there was a lack of long-term funding for the program. The council says that without the funding, it eliminates things like expected grants, networking, and business support opportunities.
They're losing access to technical assistance. They're losing access to critical investment into their businesses. And I think that our farmers and fishers here are among the most resilient in the nation. They are used to challenges.
Alaska's news source reached out to the USDA to learn more information, but have not yet heard back.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.